You want me to mention anything about, or stay away from that?
Stay away from it.
Okay.
But, it may come up.
I made some notes, but...
You have technical difficulties with this microphone.
All council chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
Hey, here we go. This is Kaz Kwiatkowski, City Councilman, and my good friend.
This is John Steiner. How is everybody today?
I think everybody's good. We haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, I've been a little bit busy the last year, to say the least. But I got a little free time on my hands now, so I figured I'd come down and see
I
it.
know what you feel like. When I got semi-retired, that's what I call it.
Right.
It's not really what I like doing, sitting around.
Right.
I mean, you get tired of watching Law and Order reruns and...
Yeah, exactly. The guy needs to find something to do to keep himself up. You can only golf so much, and...
Well, when you've been used to doing something all your life,
Yeah.
and then you suddenly pull the rug on you.
Right.
It's nice if you, like some people have a hobby, they golf.
Right.
You don't want me on the golf course.
Right.
Fishing, if I was a fisherman and I had to make a living off it, I'd be on welfare.
Yeah.
Country would be hungry.
Yeah.
So it's, what do you do?
Yeah, I'm not much of a fisherman. I enjoy fish. I like it when I have a fish on my line, and then I start reeling them in. But I don't have the patience to sit there and wait. That's what I just don't have the patience.
And my problem begins afterwards. I'm not into
Scaling them.
yeah, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
I remember taking a ride on the ocean and seeing where the lobstermen
Right.
hung out, and I'm going, well, I'm never complaining again about the price of it. I mean, would you want to do that every morning, go out, foul weather and...
Like the guys on The Deadliest Catch.
Oh.
You ever watch that show?
Yeah.
That's a tough job.
Uh-oh, hey,
No one. We didn't even notice it. That's the scary part. We don't even have a telephone.
my question is, though, will Mike show the public what he looks like?
Will they see Mike?
They've been asking for, Mike, why don't you turn around once? No?
He said, that's okay. He said, Mike, you're a lot better looking than we are. Right? You're fine.
Yeah, John and I have faces made for radio.
Exactly. I didn't even notice the phone wasn't here. Wow.
In our attempt to get finished early today and get on the air,
Yeah.
there were a couple of bugs. There we go.
Weren't there some people stressing? I heard that they were
Yeah.
stressing that you were on
Here we
5
go.
minutes late.
Napoleon had Marchonnet. I got Mike here.
There you go.
Go ahead, caller.
I don't know if I can handle you.
Why?
Well, you're talking about fishing the lobsters in the ocean. They don't fish for all lobsters in the ocean.
No, they use these catches on them.
They fish in the sounds. They don't get out into the ocean.
Well, you know what? Technically, it's the ocean to me, John.
I suppose so.
When you leave Boston and you can't see the tops of the high-rise buildings,
Yeah.
you can call it a sound. Somebody can call it an inlet or a bay.
I was on top of the Long Island Sound in New Jersey when we were out there working, and we saw it so many times we thought we were lost.
What's that?
When I was out with the utility crews.
Oh, yeah. When I look out and I don't see any land, John, around me,
Yeah.
and I'm somewhere near the Atlantic, that's the Atlantic, John.
Right.
You ought to be out in Lake Erie some night like that, when you can't see land.
If it's bigger
that's
than
true.
Lake Erie, it's an ocean.
Yeah, the ocean, that's a long way out there, John.
Yeah, it is.
Spend a whole night out there.
Or in the ocean?
No, Lake Erie.
Oh. There's a reason why Kaz was never in the Navy, and that was one of them. I mean,
Yeah?
Yeah, me in the deep water, that's not...
Never had your sea legs?
No.
Never had any sea legs?
The only kind of deep water sailor I'd be would be in a bathtub. That's it.
And the Old Chestnut Street Pool.
I remember the old chestnut.
Hey, it's good to have John back. He's been gone.
Has he?
Well, it's the trouble with cable television.
Yeah, he's in
They
kind of like a protest. I half expected him to chain himself.
And they keep changing it, and their equipment's not up to date and everything else, and there's a lot of people out there have to suffer, and the city gets the franchise, and Time Warner rules the roost.
Well, that's the trouble. We have no input into their programming, so I admit we take what we can get out of them, and the problem is, man, I've been getting a lot of pixelation.
Oh, yeah, you still see that.
And then you're getting a lot of this, now because everybody watches the Cleveland Indians, they want to put them up to another level.
Well, yeah, it's just like you moving into your new station your radio stations down at Gannon.
Yeah.
I bet that's sweet. Have you learned how to use it all yet?
It's pretty much the same equipment, John. It's,
Just updated it?
yeah, it's going to be, it's going to be computerized. But, it's not bad. It's not like, earth-shattering. The nice thing about our station, you can get it all over the world.
Well, it's nice because you can go on the computer. Like,
Yeah.
your program here should be going on the computer.
Well, we're actually working on that, John.
I see it on your website.
Yeah, thanks to DJ and our crew here and a few others, they've been working on it. We will be streaming, which is, I was hoping like a lot of our local radio shows someday would stream,
That's true, but
Because it's nice when you're out of town, it'd be... Oh, we are streaming? I was told by our engineer. We are streaming now, John.
I see it. I was just on the
High
web
tech.
and to
We're
look up
high tech
the
around
agenda to see what baloney's on the agenda for this week.
I think that means we can watch live now,
Mike's doing a good job back there. Keep it up, kid.
I tried to get him on TV, but he
looks like somebody I know, but I'm not going to say it. But
maybe that's why he didn't come out, John.
He doesn't want the paparazzi following him.
Yeah,
around.
there you
That's
go.
what it is.
yeah, paparazzi.
Yeah, they'll follow Mike around if he starts getting on television.
Hey, he'll be
Yeah,
bigger. He'll be bigger than that guy that's on name any show. The sidekick for Jay Leno and all those guys.
I don't know. I like to have some of Jay Leno's old streamers, those old steam cars and all that. But let's get down to brass tacks.
Well, I've been waiting for this. You've been gone too long. Go ahead.
I've been around, and I'm still watching all the baloney that's going on in this city. As far as let's go to step number one, the the Viaduct Bridge.
I have that on my list here.
I mean, can you imagine a walkway up there? The whole problem with that McBride Viaduct is the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation.
Yeah.
That was the whole screw up, and now these do-gooders want to come up and put a bridge, rebuild a walkway.
Well, I think what they were, I think the problem started with McBride Viaduct when we constructed the Parkway,
True.
whatever you want to call it. I think they would have a tough time convincing me that if they knew the bridge was bad back then, why we didn't build an interchange back then, instead of waiting till now, many years later, at a higher cost, putting in an interchange, which we say is a solution, and by the way, we were thinking about it back then.
Well, they knew that Bayfront Parkway was going to come in, and they thought that would appease everything.
Well, not only that, but I think deep in their head, they thought that, McBride was still viable, and so they didn't really need an interchange.
McBride wasn't viable back in the 60s.
No, it wasn't, but we were still using it. I think in their convoluted mind that they were thinking, why build an interchange when we got McBride Viaduct? Now we flash forward a number of years, and now we got the viaduct is closed. Now people are complaining about traffic at 18th Street and Buffalo Road area, and now they come up with, well, we thought about this back then. Well, why didn't you push it,
I don't think the traffic is affected on 18th Street and Buffalo Road from the bridge.
Well, I think there is a problem, John. If you try to get, Buffalo Road should have been factored into there for a long time, because right now everybody dumps out at Broad Street, and if you ever been on Broad Street around, what do you call it, when everybody gets out of work, it's quite a mess.
Well,
You put in
it's all over the city.
you put Erie County, but you put Erie County Farms in there, and you got 2 fast food restaurants, Walmart, and people trying to get home from work. And I just think, if they had a couple of options, it probably would have eased the problem a little bit.
Well, we had that problem years ago when Erie was an industrial town.
Yes, and you know what? We,
In the west,
and remember what we did? We finally, after all those years, widened 12th Street.
yeah.
Only to now narrow it. So I laugh when the young people, my colleagues and everybody go, I said, I've been through all these studies. I was there when they widened 12th Street, and I was there when they narrowed it.
And you were there when they were putting all these walkways and all
Right.
that on.
And how many times has State Street been reconfigured in our lifetime, John? At least 4.
But no, it's a shame. And let's go to a different subject real quick here.
Oh, by the way-
What about the Erie redevelopment? Are they current on their taxes?
I mean, with their properties?
With their properties, yeah. Or are they still in the red?
I have to tell you, I don't know, but I'm sure that will come up. I can bring that up we'll be going into budget session shortly, so.
Budget session's cut and dry.
No, but I can still ask questions, John, and we can ask for a report on, we're going to discuss revenue coming from,
Talking about
retail.
revenue, I think it's time we license the snowplowers in the city of Erie that are working here.
Are you reading my notes here, John?
No,
Hey, John.
I've been yelling this for how many years?
John, what do I got marked down here?
And the same thing with the grass cutters.
Well, you know what, John, I'm going to discuss in a little while, and you're free to come back on about it, you know.
No, the whole thing here is with these people, they tie up the whole streets, the grass cutters now. They're going around with great big trailers, and they put cones out, and they block whole sides of roads.
Yeah.
No wonder we haven't had an accident.
Well, what's getting me kind of ticked off, and I had this marked down here, I received numerous calls from people, and contrary to what the Erie Times thinks, and I will not let them do to me what they did to a previous councilman, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I will control the story this time.
Well, you do it right.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, you know, they misunderstood Mark's intention.
Irwin is an idiot, and I'll say it.
Who?
Erica Irwin.
Well, they did a number on Mark, and I don't think they understood what he really wanted. And
Wanted businesses to keep their properties clear.
right.
And their sidewalks clear.
Now, I know some of my colleagues don't want to touch that subject, but I'm telling you this. I just thought, I had a woman call me the other day. We have no ordinances that cover people putting snow on other people's property. We have no ordinances controlling these people that do plowing in the city, many of them who aren't Erie citizens who come in here, make a good buck. Now, there's good ones out there, but there's a lot of them that, you know, pack snow on our right-of-ways, which we have ordinances for. But if you're a homeowner, and it's a shame that we as a city can't we can't cite someone for someone taking snow and packing it on your sidewalk and your driveway, you know?
That's true.
And so I think, you know, I'm not after it. Let me, the last time the papers made it look like Mark was going after every elderly person, every person in the city for not shoveling.
They put one-sided view on that.
Well, sure they did. You know, and nobody here has ever gone after any senior citizens or anything like that. You know, it's always been kind of an issue like the city's had hands off on it. They won't admit it, but that's the truth.
How did you make out with the water department cuts?
Now, you know, I have a note here that I have a call into them, John.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did go by there, and I drove over. Now, the one that you told me about, was that...
That was on Burton.
Yeah, well, that was not in front of the Red Fox. It was...
Well, right in the middle. I said it was in that area.
I thought it was like on the...
I meant it was in the Red Fox area.
Yeah, it was in the other corner, wasn't it? I got the right one?
Yeah, when you went across going from...
As I come down, as I headed west on 38th...
As you were going to North Lane, where they just had the cut.
Yeah, I got hit a low spot when I went in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right before the intersection where Red Fox Inn is.
Yeah, and they're on 38th Street. I haven't gone there since they did it. They looked like they were replacing some expansion joints and things like that, but the whole shot.
Yeah, I'm surprised and that's a state highway. I have a note here. I want to meet with the state on many issues concerning, like East 38th Street. There's a lot of questions on that, you know.
Did they purchase permits when they cut the street like we had to when I was working for Penelec?
That's a good question, John. You know, that's their road. I don't know. Are they? Yeah, you got me there, John.
The water department, they have to get a secure permit to cut.
Right. The Commonwealth, I'm kind of, you know, I'm going to check on it. I have a meeting planned with engineering. I'm just curious because maybe they don't have to because it's their road.
I got one more quick thing, and then we'll let people come in. If you're slow, I'll call back.
Okay.
I'm very disappointed with the mayor appointing Brenda Sandberg for the head of the Port Authority.
Well, I don't think he pointed her.
Well, he's the one that brought her up when she bid for the job.
Yeah, he probably put his 2 cents in, but I think it's actually their board that picks it.
Yes, the board. And there's something that has to be looked into.
Well, yeah, one of the things that bothers me is,
Term limits on all the authorities.
I've been getting that from a lot of people in the public. You're not the first one that,
No more than 5 years.
maybe a little longer, but not much more, because I think that after a while, it's just like any other board. You need fresh thoughts,
That's true.
and you need,
The sour grapes of this, you're having the previous, or the port director now, he's still director, to come back as a consultant,
yep, that's a sore spot with a lot of people.
as an assistant for all those years, who should step into the position.
Well, that was my question was why, I'm not going to mention any names, but you would think that
It looks to me like it's payback time from politics, just like John out there in Mill Creek. It's politics.
don't get John started now.
Don't have to, because I know what goes on, and it's baloney. Why would the post office, why would they sign a deal with the post office and guarantee so much money for so many years? Yet the post office gives away $1 million office downtown to an attorney, and I don't blame him, because he's redid it and everything else, then move 200 yards and have another one in Mercantile Building.
And then tell us they can't keep one on East 38th Street.
Yeah, and the whole thing here is if they hadn't moved into the Mercantile Building, that would be another white elephant.
I can tell you, I've been involved in politics for a long time here in the city, and I worked in Mill Creek. I have never seen anything in my life like I've dealt with for the past year working in Mill Creek and working with their elected officials out there. All the complaints that I've heard on this show, all the problems, the this, the that, is nothing compared to the drama.
In one nutshell, it's all backroom politics, and it has to change. I'll hang up.
Hey, John, I was just going to tell you before you went, go ahead, I'll talk off the air, okay?
Hey.
Yeah, he brings up an interesting point, because I think sometimes these board members become more powerful than elected officials.
Well, everybody's supposed to bring something to the table when you're on a board. We'll talk in a minute.
Go ahead, caller.
Afternoon, gentlemen.
How you doing?
Hi.
Is there anybody that keeps track of the LERTA when their time is up?
Sure. That's the county and the treasurer, I do believe.
Okay, that's number one.
Because they did bring up, in fact, it was in the paper that I think many of the properties on the Niagara Pier, I think, were getting ready to be taxable. So yes, they do keep track of them.
Because I can't wait till the one down on the Bayfront Highway has to be taxed.
Which one's that?
The firm. It's Sunburst.
Oh, yeah, I can check on them for you. You can probably, the county, I think, the county and the treasurer have a list of when they expire.
Do you know that he tore his house down in South Shore Drive and built a new one so he could get...
Well, that's see, that was the thing that the LERTA came under fire for, was it wasn't designed for those type of things.
Yep.
It was designed to go into areas that were in need of...
Blighted?
Yeah, blighted. It wasn't, for lack of a better word, blighted, or an area that just didn't spur development.
Right. And correct me if I'm wrong, but after 10 years, weren't there businesses that were taking advantage of the 10-year and then leaving right when the 10-year expired?
Well, some of them were, but there's other good examples like Erie Insurance, Smith's Provision, which stay here.
Right.
There are local outfits that, took advantage, stayed, and then got some more, like Erie Insurance has been ongoing, but
Yeah.
no one sees them leaving. But yeah, I think we had that one out in Summit that left.
Yeah.
Okay, now another one is the boulevard on East 38th Street.
The one by Mercyhurst and St. Luke's?
8th Street to Pine Avenue.
Right.
At least 8 to 10 trees that are dead.
Okay, we'll get with the arborist on that. Trees on the boulevard.
And my next one is there an ordinance about putting advertising signs on the outside of a building?
Give me an example.
28th and Parade.
28th and Parade. They're advertising there?
You come up Parade Street, you don't see them beer advertisements? They're up there on the second floor.
Okay, I have to take, I get immune to a lot of that stuff when I drive by. Are you talking about that beer distributor there?
On the beer joint.
Oh.
Old Herman's.
Oh, the old Hermans.
Yep.
They're up in the windows, you mean?
Pardon?
They're up in the windows, you mean?
No, they're on the whole side of the building.
Oh, yeah. That's a good question. I have to, that would be,
It's their property. I mean,
yeah, but there is rules on what you're allowed to do. That would probably that would not be, I'm trying to think, not code maybe, but property management. Let me make a note here real quick, okay?
My last one is, it's deja vu all over again. You mentioned it at the council meeting. I counted 6 cars at that one house on 900 block of 38th Street.
Oh, yeah, there's another one at 1000 block. I went today. Not only were they were across the street on my street now. So that tells me there's a lot more people in that house than... It's starting to get out of hand, I think.
Well, I live down near 35th and East Avenue, and I counted 4 cars in the one driveway. Okay, if they're starting to be loud, I'll turn their butts in.
Give me that off the air if you want, or you can do it on the air. Give me that address so I can put in my, keep it in file here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'd like to, you can call me at home if you want.
Okay.
But okay, let me get this right. Trees on the boulevard dying near Mercier's and St. Luke's. And what was that was the other question I forgot to mark it
That
down.
was from State Street to Pine Avenue.
Right.
Jeez.
And what was the second thing you said? State to...
The second one was the trees.
Yeah, I mean about the kids, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the last one, yeah.
parking.
Yeah, parking.
What's a good phone number I could get a hold of you?
It's right in the phone book. I'll give it to you over the air, though. It's 825-7601.
Okie dokie.
Oh, you said I said something on council. What was that? I should have made a note.
You mentioned about at your council meeting that you've seen 6 cars at
Yeah,
this one
that's
house.
right. You're right. Yeah, it's getting a little out of hand, I think.
Isn't anybody in the 5th floor doing anything about this?
I brought it up to them. It's been brought up, and I get all kinds of, we can't do anything. We don't have the right to go in there, but, nothing happens when we go in there, stuff like that. But I got so disappointed. I'll tell you, quite frankly, I left that, they had a little committee that used to meet, and I thought it was going nowhere. Why waste my time going to it when all we were doing was patting each other on the back and giving us kudos, and the problem just getting worse,
Yeah, I went to a couple of those up there, Lady Lamb or...
Yeah, we even had these ones with the college, and it seemed like everything was going good, but deep down when you looked at it, nothing changed. It got worse,
Yep.
I'm looking at these things, and it's all New York cars and got lacrosse on them. You know what? I'm not a detective, but that tells me those are college kids, and they're parked all over the neighborhood now.
Well, there's on East Avenue between Pine Avenue, Pine Avenue and 38th Street, there were 5 houses on sale, for sale.
And you can't blame the people living next door to them.
There's 2 or 3 of them up on that road too.
A good friend of mine, they left the city and they moved to Fairview. They said they're done fighting. They made the good fight, but it's just not worth it. Their health is more important, and their property value is more important. So, until the day when I think they finally see the real handwriting on the wall, when that turns into what I call mini Animal House area, when they'll be happy and they'll be looking at each other going, geez, why didn't somebody tell us, or why didn't we do something? Why, the time is now.
Or either that or
8 years.
yeah, they'll start buying up the houses, and the next thing you know, they'll be tax exempt.
And here's the funny thing. I've talked to other people that their kids have gone to other schools, and I've looked at how those other schools handled it. We don't even want to start talking about it. We don't want to do anything proactive,
Well, their campus police don't leave the campus, do they?
No, they're not allowed to, but you know what? Somebody's got to embarrass
And
that.
it does, correct?
The college needs to be embarrassed. And so do we if we don't stand up for our citizens who have been there for years, the people that live here, pay taxes, and shame on us, really, shame on us.
Okay, I'll let somebody else talk.
Hey, thank you for calling.
Bye-bye.
I mean, you want the universities to be successful. They bring in
Hey, I'm not against
other
college.
revenue and different things like that they do, but when it's a tough balance.
Well, I'm not
when
against
they're in
college
the
kids,
neighborhoods.
living
Right.
in my neighborhood, fine.
Right.
They do it in other cities, but guess what?
Act
What
responsibly.
they seem to do in other cities is they force them to become good neighbors. And they understand that when they move in, that, you're not going to be tolerated doing this kind of stuff here, Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Cash, it's your late caller again.
That's okay. It was on early enough for you?
Yeah, I was going to congratulate you because about 4 minutes after you were on the air, but you didn't have no phone.
Well, yeah, we had to hurry. So, see, Mike has to come down from upstairs.
Yeah, well, here, that's enough of that stuff. I'm not going to tell you about the Steelers and Browns game, but here's another thing you were just talking about, Mercyhurst.
It was a great game anyway, right?
Yeah, but they found St. Luke's mascot on Mercyhurst's property. Now, can they investigate who stole that property?
They probably already did. No one to tell.
Yeah, like I said, it's never going to happen. They broke and destroyed it, but St. Luke's and some private organization had to pay for it. But Mercyhurst doesn't. They're in a private world of their own. They on the island or what?
They've been hearing us complain about, there's a lack of housing, and they admit it. So what did they do this year? They admitted more students, more freshman enrollment than they ever did.
But now, what I'm talking about is they got stolen property on their land.
I will tell you this, and I'm not proud of it, but I was again, and I can tell you that every student knew where a lot of that stuff ended up. It ended up in different.
Yes, I used to work security at Gannon.
Oh, you know where they ended up in the frat houses.
Yeah, and here's another thing I want to tell you about talking about that traffic jam at Broad Street.
Yeah.
Remember back in the good old days when Kaiser Aluminum and GE got out at the same time?
Yeah.
On 12th and East Avenue?
We'd all trade places with those days again.
Oh, they had a motorcycle cut at the intersection.
Yeah,
there was a buddy of mine that bought an old Harley Davidson old motorcycle, and he was following me, and he turned his siren on, went through 12th and East Avenue, and the motorcycle cop heard him and went after him.
Yeah, we used to hire extra cops to work those intersections, remember?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It took you about 10, 15 minutes to get across 12th and East Avenue.
But then we did things, we tried to expand 12th Street to help that problem a little bit,
What GE used to do is they used to leave us out at different times.
Yeah, because it was, But you know what? It was a different kind of problem, and we took steps the best we could to try to control them,
But, like you said now, to me, the Bayfront is a good thing. I enjoy the Bayfront. My Uncle Sam, during the war, believe it, he's not my Uncle Sam, but he's actually my Uncle Sam. He helped build that bridge, that viaduct on East Avenue. Then, like I said, when I was down there, we lived on 14th Street. We used to play at Wayne Park, and we used to cut across and all that. And that place was falling down on top of our heads when we were going over there. That was 40 years ago.
Yeah, it's a bridge we never took care of,
I'm looking at, like I said, you get the Bayfront Parkway, you can get to someplace where you want to go. But then, like you said, you on the Bayfront Parkway, you got all these skeletons over here with no roofs on it.
Yeah, I have that on my list too. I just, at some point in time we're going to have to, I'm starting to read a lot more letters to the editor, and, I get told that around town. So somebody's got to sit down with this gentleman and say, something's got to go under a tarp or something,
Yeah, but you got to admit too, if you take the Bayfront Highway to Broad Street, you're going to get there a lot faster than going over the viaduct.
Yeah, I just wish though that years ago they would have planned something around 18th, around Buffalo Road area, because that does have, need access.
I was brought up on 11th and East Avenue, and we used to have all kind of places there. You go there now. Matter of fact, they just even had it over here about 2 days ago on the 8th and East Avenue drug house.
Yeah, it's not the, I used to go, I still go down there's a place down there, the old Pio's. I buy pizza down there once in a while because they got this Chicago style.
Dad, I'm going to tell you another old-time story. When I was living at 11th East Avenue, Pio's wasn't even open yet, and I went up there the first day, and I wanted to order a pizza for him. And then, that ain't the old pizzas at Pio's anymore. That's a different place already.
Yeah.
And then I want to go over there and get some Greek sauce, but I'm not going on the east side to get some Greek sauce.
That's a place I used to love going to all the time.
New York lunch.
Yeah, 19th East Avenue. Oh, you could.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could. East Avenue was a nice business district, and it's a shame that.
It was.
I remember when you went to 6th and East Avenue where they had that Rex pharmacy. There was a block and a half long. You can go get a fountain soda yet, too.
Was that the building on the northeast corner, or?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one that burned down a little while ago?
Yeah. No, they destroyed it and they put a gas station there.
Oh, that's where the Rex was.
Yeah.
You guys even had a movie theater on that street, didn't you?
Yeah, we used to go down there, and now you caught me, and I can't think of the name of it. We used to go down there Saturday.
The Avenue, wasn't it?
Yeah, when you went St. Stanislaus, they had Bernadette over there. St. Bernadette, you had to go watch it on a Saturday on your day off.
That was the Avenue. Didn't they call it the Avenue, or?
Avenue.
Yeah.
Then they used to have one up on 26th Street, too.
Yeah, the Roxy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those days are, it's a shame that Erie is now a one movie house town. You want to see your movies, you got to go up to Tinseltown.
I remember I used to go to the Regents on Parade Street for 17 cents, a double feature, cartoon, and coming attractions.
Being a little younger than you, I wasn't allowed to go there. We won't go there, why, but...
We talked about it before. I said at 71, we're about the same age.
Yeah, when I didn't live there, but when I got older, going to the region wasn't the thing to do. It was...
The Strand?
It had changed, it changed its image. It wasn't...
Strand, the Columbia, and all the other ones.
Yeah, we tore down an awful lot of movie houses.
Well, like they said, they weren't making any money and all that, and then the films start getting... You get a movie actor now that gets $10-15 million for a movie, what are you going to do?
Well, that's why they've all shut down, drive-ins and movie theaters.
They can't buy the digital equipment either.
And they can't afford the equipment, and the movie companies charge so much money. I mean, real movie theaters and drive, they make their money off of the concession stands.
Yeah.
They don't make anything off the movie itself. That's why you pay $3.50 for a box of popcorn, because that's the only way they can survive.
How much for a box of popcorn?
$3.50, isn't it?
Something like that.
$4.50 now?
Couple bucks for water.
Yeah.
For a box of popcorn now.
$3.50, $4.50, right in that area.
Just to get in.
You would laugh down in outside of Allentown. I think it's Ephraim or Ephrata. There's a town where they saved their local movie theater, and it's got the same hard, ugly seats that we used to sit in as kids. And you get the one little person operating a little concession stand with the typical candy, the Ikes and all that, and the old style. But you know what? It's fun because you go there and it's not expensive. It's a shame that, we couldn't save one of our theaters and do that.
Yeah, I know, just for nostalgia, if people just want to go in there just to relive the old days, like you go to Regent, sit on a wood stool over there, had a wooden seats.
Yeah, in those days, we didn't know any better,
I'd like to see the West Erie Plaza open up again.
Like I said, they tried it 3 or 4 times, and like he says, you can't make a go of it. It costs too much now.
Well, you have to, like you said, you have to go to the digital equipment. I think the Waterford Drive-In had a big fundraiser out there. I think it's really expensive.
I think I'm going to go out to just see one. My kid, I've never taken, my grandkids have never seen that, drive-in.
Right, yeah.
My wife and I just went out there last weekend to catch the last movie.
Oh, they had the last one for the season?
That's what she told me. She said that was the last one, she said that's the last one they're going to be able to attend.
I'm not going to embarrass you. Do you park in the back row or what?
She parked in the back row. And, well, not even in the back row, but somebody with an SUV went and picked up their tailgate in the back end.
Right. It's always fun to watch it from the tailgate.
I used to go to the drive-ins all the time. Well, like I said, me and Stosh over there are old people, so we'd go in the drive-in, you pull out the box, you hang it on your window, right? But then you start going to the drive-in, you have to turn on your radio.
Yep.
And I had a 1950 Ford where the battery wouldn't last that long for all the movies.
I remember when, he's right though. I remember the Star one time tried to stay open all year. The one where Yorktown is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They came up with this plan about you could rent a heater. And you put the heater in your car, you plug it into it got like boiling hot in there.
Right.
That'll work good until like you had a heavy snowfall, and then that was like,
Right.
so much for that idea, right?
Home at night either.
Well, you know who used to own the Star?
Who?
Joe Kirsch.
He did too? Well, he had the one on Corey.
Both of them, yeah.
We'll all get in trouble for
Park
that.
in the back row, you keep warm. You don't need heaters. Right? You don't need them.
You see the people in the back that snuck the people living in the back over there.
Right.
That brings back a lot of, you're making me laugh now though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stosh, don't worry about it. I'm going to let somebody else talk to you now.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
You never know what's going to go on in this show.
Pardon?
You never know what's going to happen on this
Well,
show.
that's the fun of it,
Yeah. We had the Peninsula drive-ins and all, they're all gone.
Yeah, everything's gone. I mean, even out of town you go, there's very few drive-ins.
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
How would I find out if the city of Erie is doing business with a specific company? If I had a company in mind, how would I go about finding out whether or not the city's had business dealings with them?
Oh, you mean if we buy anything off them or anything?
Right, exactly.
Well, that's simple. You can give it to me, and I could check I could have the certain office check it for me. They'll tell if there's any any record of purchases.
Well, the company's name is the Harris Corporation. It's a telecommunications company based out of Melbourne, Florida.
Harris Corporation?
Harris Corporation, Harris.
Harris Corporation, out of
Melbourne.
Florida.
Melbourne, Florida?
Yeah.
Okay. What do they do?
They make telecommunications equipment.
Oh, okay. Harris Corporation, Melbourne, Florida. I can check it for you. I gave my number over the air. You can
That's
probably...
public knowledge, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll have them check we have a register. We can bring it up quick.
Yeah.
They have a local place around here, ma'am, or just Melbourne?
I honestly don't know. I know there are a lot of companies that have a similar name.
Yeah.
It could be confusing sometimes.
Yeah, Harris. Yeah, Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check on it, and if you want to call me at home and maybe I can get it done today when I get done here. You can probably call me tomorrow and I have an answer for you.
All right, thanks a lot.
Do you have my number or?
Yeah, I got your number.
Okay, yeah, I'll check on it for you, see if they've done any business.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
No problem. Yeah, that's easy to check, really.
Yeah. That's public knowledge.
Yeah, when I was controller, I had access to those. I could go in there and I could, check on certain companies and...
It probably had to go through the bidding process, didn't it?
Some things, not everything, though.
No, like professional services.
It depends on the level of what we're buying and,
Right.
like little things,
It's the least responsible.
if it's a big thing like a contract, they usually,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's been,
Do you hear that feedback that comes through?
Yeah.
the phone?
was that from your phone or from
I
the
don't know.
mics?
Well,
Yeah, I was looking, I had a lot of notes, and it's funny that people seem to they must have been reading my mind.
You're on the same wavelength with these folks.
Yeah.
What do you got? What else do you got there?
Well, I was looking at, let's see, pretty much it was, I had a gentleman complain about the bus stops around 30th and Liberty when we repaved the roads. And I noticed that was a topic that, we haven't put the second layer in a lot of roads. And, the handicap accessibility issue being as it is, I want to check with the bus company about, making sure the bus stops are in good shape. I remember when, on State Street, we had some problems when we took out some of the old bus stops.
Right.
And you got to be careful, but then I noticed somebody wrote into the paper about the garbage bills again, and just to calm everybody's fears. That's still going on.
People been paying,
A little bit. It hasn't been earth-shattered.
slowed down a little
yeah.
bit from what the initial.
But, you know, if you want to call back, well, I guess we cut you off. But gentleman voiced concerns that he thought we were only picking on the landlords, and then he made a comment that what John Rand did with Section 8, you know, we shouldn't be satisfied. We never asked John to do that.
Right.
He did that on his own and contacted the Water Authority, so that was actually a nice thing, because what that did was that further solidified our position, and now he's making sure that what falls under his domain is going to, you know, follow through.
At least he's stepping up to try
Yeah.
to do what he can.
So he, you know, it wasn't like he's the only one we're worried
And he
about.
does come through with a pilot payment.
Right. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Kaz, if you're available tonight, we're having our neighborhood watch meeting.
Okay, I'll try to get there, okay?
If you can,
Okay, 7 o'clock, right?
same place.
Lamb of God.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
How were those meetings going up? I remember I came up and spoke at one of those meetings a long time ago.
They might be getting a little bit heated up now because kids are back to school.
Yeah, usually around September. they
Yeah.
do it.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, I just thought of a couple other things.
Go ahead, you're on.
I could sit there and spend the whole hour with you.
You should come on. You know, we've had people they want to see the real John.
The parking down on 38th Street, were there permits drawn for those residents?
I have a note here. I'm going to meet with, I actually have two addresses which I marked down today, which I'm going to check with engineering and code enforcement to see whether they took out the proper permits. Now, usually we don't stop people from doing it, but they have to go through, as I understand it, they have to go through engineering, get the proper clearances to make sure that they don't cause a problem with the water runoff.
Oh, that's true. You know, when you're forcing businesses to get green space to put this in,
Yeah.
and then you let these landlords come in and take away the green space, what justification is there in that?
Well, hey, John, did you hear that gentleman earlier? You're talking about the ones like a 1000 block?
Yeah, but 900, 1000?
Yeah, right below my street. Now, I came back from vacation. I said, what the heck? I'm looking, and there they were, blacktopping these huge stretches of front lawn.
Yep.
And then what's really weird is if you, and I didn't go in the back because I'm not allowed, but if you walk past them and you look in the backyard, they're
They
gravel.
extended it back there, too.
They're gravel. So how many places do you need?
9 cars in that one place.
Yeah, now 9 cars, if that's an R1,
And then next door, there's about 5 more cars
yeah, and guess where they were parking today because they didn't have enough room?
on the side streets.
On Stanley Avenue, right, the bottom, right around the corner where, now in wintertime, you're going to hit one of them. And I'm going, what the heck is going on here?
Well, you can
You don't
do
need that many cars for 3 people unless you got 3 cars apiece.
But, you know, and another thing I've noticed that, talking about enforcement, there's a apartment complex on 38th and Page. They're starting to leave their garbage on the street on Mondays, and it stays there till Thursday when they pick it up.
Hang on 1 second.
38th and Page.
Page Street, 38th and Page, north side or south side of the street, across from the school.
East 38th and Page.
That's over by Valerio's, I think.
It's a big corner complex.
Okay, and they're on the south side of the street or the north?
Now, they're on the south side. The school's on the north side.
I think I know the place. And they leave it on the,
They leave it right by the tree there, and it stays there almost the whole week.
well, they're not supposed to get, well, I'm going to check. They're not supposed to get garbage pickup.
24 hours, that's the rule.
Yeah, but they're not supposed to get garbage pickup in some of those apartments because,
No, they don't have waste management there.
well, that's a good, well, I'm going to check in that because the way I understood it, and that came up during our topics, that apartment complexes, large ones like, you know, like different ones you see them on, what's the one on East 38th, they call it, right by Old French Road?
Jefferson?
Yeah, Jefferson Apartments and stuff.
Yeah.
Those usually all under city rules. If they had so many adjoining apartments, they were responsible for their own garbage. So I'm going to check into that.
A few there. And, you know, code enforcement, I know their hands are full, but I was on Prospect and Wagner today,
Yeah.
and I couldn't see the sidewalk. And the overgrowth was so unbearable. I don't know if anybody's living in a corner house there.
Prospect and Wagner.
East side,
Yeah, I know that. I'm trying. That's over there by.
Meadowbrook.
Yeah, I thought that sounded familiar over there.
I mean, it's unthinkable.
Overgrown. It's one property there.
Yeah. There's two houses take up the whole block area, and it doesn't look like it's had a grass cut in years.
So they're both on Buffalo Road. One's on Prospect. One's on Wagner.
No, Prospect and Wagner join right at the corner.
Oh, okay, and that's where the properties are overgrown.
The property is, but it's a shame, you know. And you go around, you see so much, and the gentleman was talking about those trees. I've been screaming about those trees for a year and a half now.
The trees on, you mean the
On the
boulevard?
boulevard on 38th Street.
Yeah, I'm going to check on that. I got an interesting call about, 3 weeks ago. I'm going to check to see if they follow through on it.
Well,
But it turned out that-
what's really sad.
It turned out a redevelopment's own property had overgrown.
You know what's really sad about that? They trimmed it last year, and they should have trimmed it right at the base.
Yeah, we'll have to get the arborist on there. I know she's short of money at different times, but
I don't know. She's taking a lot of trees that are being planted, and a lot of it's going down. She's just not doing her job.
well, I got to check. I'll give her the benefit that I know that when I used to okay the contracts, we didn't have a lot of contracts out there for tree cutting. There wasn't a lot of money there, so
You're taking the money to plant the trees, though.
those are grants usually.
Well, you got to take care of the dead ones first and replace the.
That I understand,
new
John.
one.
It's crazy. The government will give you money to plant them, but they won't give you money to. It's like when we did that little park.
Local.
You want to hear the weirdest one, John? You remember that little triangle by Wayne School?
Yeah.
That was almost a grant to do that. I mean, you think about government at its finest, should I say? You know, they put a lot of money into growing some kind of garden there.
Yeah.
And then the money, of course, dries up, and then there's an ownership problem like, well, who takes care of it? Just like when you go along the Bayfront Parkway, you know, that's all state land,
Yes.
but all of a sudden everybody forgets who owns it.
That's true.
And, you know, we had that weed problem for a while. I remember when Jimmy Thompson was still alive, and he was like flustered every time we went by there, you know.
You know, Sue,
I'll say one
There was
thing.
an ownership problem all of a sudden, you know.
that triangle, Sue Moyer.
Elderly gentleman
She's
for the
taking care of
park
it now?
department. He's keeping this corner of ours fantastic. He keeps the fire plug cleaned out. And what
Where's that, John?
on 42nd and Fargo?
A property owner or a gentleman?
It's a city lot.
Some gentleman takes care of that?
No, the Parks Department.
Ah, okay.
He does a great job, and he's even trimming around the fire plug. You know, talking about fire plugs, maybe somebody down there in the safety areas should get extensions like they have in Mill Creek and these fire plugs that are out in the boondocks a little bit, and put a stake there so that the firemen can find it.
Oh, you mean during the winter, like?
Yes, well, they have a little rod that they attach to the flange.
Yeah, you know what?
Right around Mill Creek, you'll see some of them
I've
around.
seen. I know what you're talking about. They're there for the winter too.
Yes, they're there for the summer and the winter.
It's like a pole that extends up a couple feet.
Yes, and you know, the water department's out doing these things. They should repaint those fire plugs.
You know, if you see any plugs, you know, give me a call, give me a specific site, and maybe we can bring it up and find out why, you know, why they're not doing it. You know, if there's a real, can't be that much of a cost to it, you know.
I knew a bucket of paint, you see more paint on the city's paint truck than there is on where they're painting. But you know, they used to do that every year. They used to paint them, or every other year they'd spot areas where they would work.
Well, yeah, they talk about putting kids to work. That's a, you know, that's kind of the things we used to do when we were kids was.
Yeah, and they could even test those valves to make sure they're working.
I remember when I was working for the parking authority, I used to have to paint the stairwells every year.
Yeah, that's true there.
Paint the stairwells, the railings, you know.
And one other thing, remember I told you when the salt was going to go up because Morton wasn't doing so much mining in Lake Erie out there?
Yeah.
Guess what? Salt's going up. Have a great day.
See you, John. I certainly have a lot of work ahead of me, I can tell you that. That's okay, though.
You notice in Erie, we have problems with the grass in the summer, snow in the winter, leaves in the fall.
Well, you know what? I don't think we're not very proactive.
Oh.
I mean, we do what we're required to do.
We can't afford to be proactive.
Yeah, but we only do what we're required to do, you know.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is when you ride around, you see these houses starting to get really terrible. It just gives everybody an idea like, well, I don't have to take care of mine then, you know.
The broken window theory.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Broken window theory, absolutely.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Kaz, I called you yesterday about the water authority,
Yes, you did.
and did you check into that?
I'm going to do it this afternoon. I didn't get a chance to check on it yet, but I have a note here because I actually, I put yours on my telephone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be, I'm going to take care of and find out. I'm going to go upstairs and find out a couple of things too, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
So I got you, I think I have your phone number at home, right?
Yes, you do.
And if you don't hear from me in a day or two, call me back.
Okay, I will do that.
Yeah, because I got you down on the list to, he had a little problem with,
Thank you.
that, you know, thanks. He had a little problem. We're going to take care of it for him, try to find out the reason.
Kaz is serious. He has an official things to do list here today, so.
Oh, yeah, you know.
Next week, you're going to have some answers.
This ain't the one. This
On time with answers, Kaz.
I actually had, what, I was going to say, let's see, the things we did get accomplished were, where did I put that list? I had it here.
It's a very short list.
It's getting kind of convoluted. Well, no, we had a complaint about a car being somewhere for a few months, got that one towed.
Nice.
Sometimes all you got to do, and I tell people, is just bring it to the attention of somebody.
Well, you don't, people, they'd rather call you and have you take care of it.
Well, you know, that's okay, but I mean, after it's there for
You
a
don't work
while.
here anymore. They don't understand that. Right?
You can still get it done, though.
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead, caller.
I had to call back when you're talking about the water department.
Yeah.
And when you go see them, ask them why they do not wash their brakes up when they're working on the roads and they just leave it.
Why they what? Don't what?
Why they don't clean up their mess.
What kind of mess do they leave, John?
There was one on south of 38th Street. They had a big water leak, and the water was running down. You know how the sediment and all that?
Right.
They left it after they repaired the job. And all that water's being wasted running away. It wouldn't hurt to hook up the hydrant and clean it up when they're done. Just a thought. Just
Okay.
for a clean city. Thank you.
Okay.
Somebody was talking about the McBride Viaduct. They're talking about putting a green space on
Lisa Austin.
About a green space on the viaduct?
Yeah, Lisa was talking about it. And it's come up before. Well, I was going to explain when that gentleman was talking about that the big thing is, I think the city wants to tear it down.
Yeah.
Some people want to keep it up.
Right.
They came up with a plan that they've seen in other cities where they make them into parkways. You know, in some towns they've shut down entire highways
Right.
and turned the highways into.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the right spot for it.
Well, I mean, I don't see, number one, how the safety issue of it.
Well, they're saying that if all you got in there is bike and foot traffic, which I think nobody's ever said that you can't walk on the bridge or put bicycles, but cars are definitely another issue.
I've driven over the viaduct a million times. There's not much of a view up there.
No, that's that was brought to our attention, but they seem to think that they can make it work. And they brought that to council a few months ago. Actually, I think it was the end of last year. They showed us a plan of what they were thinking of. No, there was no commitments made.
Well, who's going to take care of it and who's going to insure it?
I would think their plan was, I think council wouldn't go along with it unless there was some kind of
private.
Yeah, they were sure they could probably get grants and contributions, and of course then you would have to have somebody like we did in Frontier Park with the Frontier Arboretum group, right? Leaf group, or we've had other public-private partnerships like Downtown Improvement District. If they had their own committee that would take care of it, I'm sure that's an issue. And of course, you bring up issues too about we'd have to have it cleared for safety,
And plus, insurance, I mean, that's,
I think, they were looking at it in a way like, let's try to save the bridge. It's hard to explain to a non-East Sider, and I was one of them once.
Yeah.
When I moved there, I understood the problem, that the bridge does have relevance in some times,
it does.
There are times when,
Yes.
when taking the bayfront is not
No,
convenient.
it's not.
And people laugh at that, and they go, it's only, you have to be there to know why.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with why the businesses are failing over there now, because people don't drive by there
Right.
anymore.
And I think their plan was if they could keep it at least open to foot traffic, but I don't know, I mean, anything's worth looking at.
Right.
And I never turned on any idea until,
I think it's a good, I mean, if the location is kind of bad, I mean, I can't.
yeah, I think,
I mean, when you have a park, you want to have,
and this is kind of what that gentleman brings up.
Yeah.
It's time that we don't allow Erie to become like Detroit, that we start taking steps to improve our city one step at a time. We got to take, there was a time when East Avenue was a beautiful, I mean, not that it isn't now, but there was a time when that was a beautiful business district, vibrant and lively.
absolutely.
And I can remember the argument when I was on the school board about how we could not move East High School, how that would be terrible, how that would be a death knell, another nail in the coffin of that part of town. So we built that school. We put it there. And for a while, John, it was, I mean, you had the bank down there, you had, I'm trying to think of you had couple breakfast places,
Barney's.
Barney's and all that, lunch places.
Right,
You had a couple of nice taverns that were open, family places.
right.
You had businesses down there, and it seems like, yeah, you're right, ever since we closed that bridge and created like a cul-de-sac effect,
Right.
and in the cul-de-sac that also happened when we shut down side streets, we kind of pinched that neighborhood off. It's like, I don't think when the engineers do these studies, they can tell me all they want, but whenever you shut down road access in any way, and you start making that like a cocoon,
Yeah.
things happen,
Right.
you don't have God, I can remember as a kid, you thought 18th Street was a business district, Parade Street was a business district, downtown, of course, was State and French and Peach, and then you had East Avenue, those were lively places.
How about we're giving tax breaks to those stores, and I believe it's the foreigners that are running those stores, and they're dealing drugs out of the stores.
That has to stop.
Can you believe that? I mean, I don't think they're paying any taxes or anything on those stores.
No, the tax break should be going to people that have the guts to stay down there, that are,
Yeah.
the people that are starting new businesses. I was going to bring up about Tom Kennedy. Here's a prime example. He's building a hotel, his own money. Yes, he's getting a loan from us,
Right.
but that's a loan that's going to be paid back with interest.
You've got to spend a little money to make a lot of money.
Yeah, and these are good ideas,
Tom, isn't he the guy that owns the Renaissance building?
Yeah. And if you go there, he's trying his damnedest to get the businesses in that building, trying to make that relevant. And he's doing a good job. He had a woman's store open down there, the first one we had in years downtown.
How's the GAF situation going?
You don't hear much about any long-range plans. They claim that they have a long-range study coming in. I can guarantee you that after this last debacle with the hotel, they want me to get involved. I'm going to be involved. I'm going to make sure that I want a copy to see what they're doing. I think the public needs to get involved. I think, I still, while the hotel's coming and they're doing it on their own property, but I still was never happy about the parking ramp going on the GAF site. I know why they did it. They had to, because of the underneath situation with the fill.
Yeah,
But we could have put other things there. They admitted that. And I would have rather seen things that pay taxes go there.
I mean, you need mixed use down there.
I mean, they tell me they're going to put businesses around the parking ramp. That's okay, but it's still a parking ramp. That should have been on Civic Center property.
We've got a terrible habit of putting non-taxable entities on our most taxable properties.
And this is why when boards become stagnant with the same people, the flow of ideas doesn't seem to get there, and everybody starts having their dream wish list.
And then they keep, the business keeps going to the same people.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
most people do, when they serve on boards, they are trying to do what's best, but eventually it gets to a point where we do need new people to spread things around, like you said, with new ideas.
Well, people got a vested interest in there. I mean,
Yeah.
like you take, and one of the things I like, I serve on the parking authority, and they have a couple of business people on there, especially a couple that are in the neighborhood that's affected. You need their opinions too, I've always said that, one of the big problems with downtown is we have all these, when we have these festivals and everything, we sometimes don't ask the people that have businesses there how that affects them. Sometimes they have to be tailored down maybe a little bit.
What people, whether you're an elected official or on a board or something, any decision you have to make, you're hoping that you're making it based on what's best for people.
Right.
The public. And in some cases, I've come to realize that that's not the case, unfortunately.
I've met people that really and I've worked with people that really deep down want to do what's right, And then there's other people that want to, and I'll say this, I'll probably get in trouble. There are those that serve and don't want any recognition. There's others that seem to want the plaques and the awards, and they have their wish list and their dream things. Well, sometimes that doesn't work,
Those people I call it large sign syndrome. Whenever an election comes around, whoever's got the largest signs, I try to stay away from them folks and tend to look at the guy with the smaller signs.
Yeah.
Because how did he get those signs? Somebody's donating him a lot of money, because I know, and those signs cost a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. That's why I've always tried, when I ran for office, I always tried to pick up the signs personally.
Yeah.
And thank the people, that.
Yeah. I mean, that's when I see when I see that, I go, okay.
I've never bought one billboard in my life, I'm telling you the truth.
Oh, people, you've had the same signs forever. I mean, you scratched out school director in Road City?
Well, I've had new ones made, but there's nowhere near the high-profile signs that
No, it's the same.
they're doing some of these billboards.
All the people know, all the Polish people know when Kaz is running, time to come out and vote.
I've had people show me signs they had for 20 years. Those are the people I really, I admire everybody, even those that voted against me,
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, you can't make everybody happy all the time.
No.
I mean, you're always going to upset somebody.
Come to the breakfast place with me. I don't leave there sometimes for 2 hours.
I try to stay away from you. When I see you, I go, oh, God. Okay.
Don't send me
I
out.
know, he'll be talking for an hour. We gotta go.
That's fun, though.
Yeah, that's hot.
And we got the high sign. We had to leave. Hey, you know what? Anything you want to say before we go off?
No, I mean, it's just, it's good to be back to see and talk to you guys. Haven't been around.
I'm glad you came, because
You'd have been alone. You'd have been solo again.
well, sometimes when you sit here, it's like, I didn't finish everything I was going to go over, but that's good, because
You had a lot of calls.
you spurred a lot of different comment.
Yeah. No, we had a lot of calls, and a lot of people had some ideas and some things to talk about. And I mean, I'll sit here and shut up all day. Let them do.
As
the
I
talk.
tell you, you're welcome to come back anytime you want.
Yeah. Have you been going out of town? I haven't seen you.
Yeah, I did most of my traveling during the summer,
Yeah.
visiting all my kids out of town.
Minnesota, aren't they, or something like that?
Minnesota, Mississippi, and Eastern PA.
Wow. You went to all three?
Yeah.
Wow. How's your grandkids?
They're good, but I don't see them enough.
And then they live far away.
Yeah.
They get bigger and
See,
bigger.
I want to get to the point where I can take one to the ball game,
Yeah. Take them to an Indians game. Not going to be in October.
Yeah, we got a little girl finally, so that's my wife now. She's going to be happy now.
There you go.
We got a granddaughter, so
Happy wife, happy life.
yeah, she can do,
Yeah. Well, you were, well, I'm sure you watched the Browns game yesterday. We have to talk about that for a second.
Yep, that was
First half, you were probably like, oh boy, here we go.
yeah,
Same
but
old.
you know what? I thought all I ever asked of the Browns was what they gave me.
Right.
They gave me some hope.
False.
It looks like.
Paul says it would be.
You think it's false hope?
Yeah, absolutely.
Huh?
Yeah.
Why?
From yesterday's, I just don't think Pittsburgh's that good anymore. They're not good.
No, they ain't, but they're still better than the Browns, and that's the problem. It's
Yeah, that's.
I think the
scary.
Browns, they showed that when your running back goes out and you have two rookies, which did good.
They did good. They
But,
did look good.
you lost your lead end,
Yeah.
and the other guys, although good, don't have the experience of making that clutch catch.
I think they're getting better.
And I think the Browns still have a lack of depth.
Yeah.
And that shows. And see, where the Steelers, they can complain all they want about, yeah, they're not the same team, but they have a lot of depth there. And they're going to do good. Cleveland's, I think, is a year away.
Yeah.
And I think what we saw yesterday was, I think they're going to play for this coach.
Yeah.
Something, and I was reading that it wasn't the coach that got him fired up. It was Hoyer, Dansby, Whitner, and
Some of the new guys.
Tate. No, not Tate. The new guys come in there and said, "Oh, Thomas," and they all said, "Hey, no, you go out there and play with a little pride, you know."
Right.
So I think what you saw is, I think now they feel like, you know, we've played a pretty good team, our rival. I think we did good on their territory. Okay. So a lot will tell me next week when they go up against New Orleans, if they still make that same kind of progress. I think that's all we ask as Browns fans, that we finally want to look at one owner, one manager, you know,
Right.
one general manager, one coach, you know, for a number of years.
For this year.
Yeah.
Next year, you'll have a whole
Well,
bunch.
no, that's what we don't want to see. We want to see some, you know, stick with the program. It's going to be ugly, okay?
Yeah.
But, you know, they've done some things, and now they got to go to the next step.
Well, they did show improvement, that I must admit, so. We have to be off the air by now.
Yep. But we are, Sean, thank you for coming. You going to come again maybe next week?
We'll see. I don't know about next week, but we'll have to play it by ear. And
You're welcome here anytime, though.
All right, I appreciate it.
I thought it was a good game.
That was a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.